Yeah. What it do, people? What it do? What it do? What it do, people? The boy Chaos. You already know. Before we get started, I want to beg everybody. I'm begging. No, I'm just playing. I want to say, everybody, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel at DJ Chaos, the Mixed Master. You know what I'm saying? If you want to, share, if you will. You know what I'm saying? It's all love, baby. Let's get into the topic. The change of hip hop music in our society. Well, this topic right here is been my thought process for over 20 years. And the reason why I say it's been my prime topic because me being a DJ, you know what I'm saying, I love music. Music is my life. And I have been following the hip hop culture since I can remember. And I remember back in the days when I first heard a hip hop song, and that was basically like breakdancing chant. It was just more like breakdancing music, you know what I'm saying? Because you had, African Bambaataa and the Soul Sonic Force, Planet Rock, and DJ Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five with the message. These songs here were not just partying songs, but they had messages in it, especially the message itself. The song basically it basically specifies what the song is about, is giving you the message of what goes on in America. So at that particular time, hip hop wasn't really in the door in the industry, like talking about it. It really didn't start getting into the industry deeply until, like, I want to say almost the mid to late 80s. But at that particular time, it was considered as conscious rap. And conscious rap, you know what I'm saying, consists of guys like Kumo D, KRS One, and even Public Enemy. Now, these guys was given information that most high schools, elementary, junior high would never think about, because we learned a whole lot about Malcolm X, Dr. King, Harriet Tubman. I mean, this a name a few of, real giant Black leaders that we grew up to learn about in Black history. But we learned more just by listening to the hip hop lyrics of those songs back in the days and get a whole understanding on who we were as Black people. It also created this persona that kept us together as a family. The Black man and Black woman, including the kids. Now, for some odd reason, when we got into the 90s, things started to turn for the worse. What do I mean? A new type of sound was created And it was created for a reason, one reason only, because the music in the 80s, the hip hop music in the 80s, we party, we danced, we enjoyed ourselves. We pretty much was more respectful for each other and our elders, as well as our parents, who was our elders, you know. But there were people who clearly owned the record industry. And what I mean, people that owned the record industry were also friends with people who ran the prison industry. And their whole concept was, we need to change this music up because these guys are rapping about our supreme being and how we treat them in the streets of America. And people are starting to wake up to this. We have to basically get rid of this so-called conscious rap that keeps Black men and women being more respectful for themselves and others. What we have to do, we have to get rid of the lyrics talking about Black love and coming together in unity, because they've tried this before with the Civil Rights Movement and the Black Panther Party and Nation of Islam, Sneaking Corps, the Freedom Riders. And you see what our fellow brothers back then was trying to do, and we got to keep it the same way, because they're trying to do much of a different deal through music. So what you expect? So what you do you expect, Mr. Powers that be? I want you to change the music up and start talking more, have those artists start talking more about shooting each other, calling their women out their names, smoking weed and drinking alcohol. Talk about dope selling, robbing, murdering, and bragging. Because see, when you do that, the young generation that listen to this music is going to have a different look on the music. They're going to do any and everything that the lyric says. So, bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. You know, songs like that become the New Testament of destroying the Black man's image on loving the Black woman, the Black woman's image on loving the Black man. And then it starts to spread like the plague throughout the 90s, all the way to present day in time, 2023. And we go from guys like this and this to guys like this. And the reason is because the unification of the Black man and woman needs to cease. This is what the powers that be is basically going at. You probably say, well, from what I know, back in the 80s, part of the 80s and 90s, we all had violent type of music too. But yeah, we did to a certain degree. But that was just the beginning. And then a lot of times we knew our place and how far to go with things. to the point where we respected our elders and we know how to respect ourselves to a certain degree. And this generation doesn't get it. That's out the door because I had a friend of mine that told me earlier today when I was showing him a video of an old man dancing at a reception. Y'all probably seen this on social media where this older guy, elderly brother, was dancing at this wedding reception, and this young lady was on the other side of him twerking. He turned around and looked at her like he was going to smack the mustard off her face. And the young man that I was talking to was like, he should leave her alone, leave them women alone, let them just have fun. I find that to be a problem because in some aspect or another, you should want to respect yourself in a public place like that, especially a ceremony like that going on. Somebody just got married. You're supposed to be able to, respect yourself and respect others. But like I say, I get it because the whole environment of hip hop and R&B is no more. R&B is basically out the door when it comes down to black men and women. And the reason is the powers that be knows that our R&B music and hip hop music at one time gave good knowledge of self and knowledge of knowing how to respect each other in unison. So they took it out. They took rap music and destroyed it. They even took R&B and destroyed it. Most times you go to the clubs, the younger generation don't want to hear no R&B music. They want to hear trap and drill. I remember a time when I was young, back in the 90s, going to the dance was a treat and getting to the point where we danced pretty good, then the DJ slowed it down, and then we grab somebody that we like or whatever and slow dance with that person. That doesn't get any kind of play anymore in a lot of aspects or another. And it's because if you go as far as 1974, when they started talking about depopulation control, at that particular time, President at the time, Richard M. Nixon, and his Secretary of Defense, Henry Kissinger, basically was putting out a memo. I can't think, I don't want to get the wrong memo. I'm thinking it was Memo Global 2000, something like that. I'm talking about depopulation of the third world, but at the same time, focusing on the Western world as well, because they felt like there was too many people in the United States. Mainly, their biggest focus was on, you guessed it, black people. So they have been focusing on trying to get us up out of here in more ways than others. They tried with drugs and alcohol. They tried with unemployment. Crack scenes. And now do music. And it seems to be working pretty good because now that you get these trap rappers and drill rappers or whatever the case may be, basically just out here keeping up all type of turmoil with each other. And it causes a domino effect towards the neighborhoods that they live in or whatever, because you got a fan and your fan's gonna side with you and gonna be willing to go down with you at every cost because they like your swag. They like the way you do things. And the powers that be knows this. That's the reason why they use music to destroy our capability to be in unison with each other. So when you think about it, when our families once upon a time looked like this in the 1950s and 60s, it ended up looking like this in present time of 2023. Notice there is no man in the home. There's just the mother and her kids. And yes, hip hop played a part in this destruction of our society. So the next time when you hear trap music or drill music, think about what I said. In fact, when you get off of this segment, go and look up Crazy Bones video where he was reading about the 1991 hip hop meeting in in the outskirts of Los Angeles, and it basically will tell you what their push to destroy hip hop music and see the difference between the 80s music versus 2023. And don't think just because it's a whole nother decade or whatever the case may be, that was the reason. No, it's a bigger reason than that. It's about you loving your brother. It's about you loving your sister. It's about you loving your girlfriend. It's about you loving your woman, your boyfriend. It's about us loving each other to create new life that they're trying to destroy because of depopulation control, because of the depopulation control agenda. Don't take my word for it. Just do your research. Your boy Chaos. I'm out. Deuces.